Welcome to This Explainer. Look, if you've been tracking the tech space, even a little bit lately, you know something massive just happened. We are looking at a total, undeniable paradigm shift that officially crystallized in January 2026. We are finally crossing that line where AI goes from being this fascinating, kind of wild experiment to becoming the literal bedrock of global business. I think the whole vibe is perfectly captured by this new reality. AI stopped being a technology bet and became enterprise infrastructure, right? The era of playing around with cute little technology demos, that is officially over. Now we're talking about massive capital flows, real, hard regulatory frameworks, and fundamental changes to how the global economy actually operates. Just think back to 2025 for a second. Last year was all about experimentation, right? Testing models, poking at them, seeing what was actually possible. But flash forward to January 2026, and man, the line in the sand has been drawn. The narrative has completely flipped to industrialization and infrastructure. We're dealing with serious production-grade systems deployed at absolute scale, backed by capital numbers that literally rival the GDP of entire nations. So, to see exactly how this is playing out, here's what we're going to cover: the industrialization of AI, how agents are driving real commerce, healthcare hitting compliance thresholds, mega capital meeting AI infrastructure, the new regulatory reality, and finally, what leaders absolutely must prioritize. Let's dive in. Section 1. The industrialization of AI. This is the phase where AI becomes foundational. And we aren't just talking about nimble tech companies rolling out shiny new features here. The real headline from January is that highly regulated industries actively shipped production AI products. These aren't theoretical, maybe someday plans slated for some vague date in the future. No, these are live products deployed under strict oversight right now in this exact quarter. Moving on to Section 2, AI agents drive real commerce. We are officially moving beyond basic chatbots. We're seeing massive corporate rollouts happening on the ground that are going to directly impact your everyday life. Just look at this. Microsoft debuted Copilot Checkout and Brand Agents, which actually lets consumers complete purchases right inside Copilot using PayPal or Stripe. Google introduced this universal commerce protocol, so AI agents can execute transactions across different retailers. And out in the physical world, Kroger deployed Google Cloud's Gemini Enterprise nationwide for end-to-end meal planning and shopping lists. Meanwhile, Home Depot expanded its Magic Apron Assistant for real-time in-store guidance and image-based product search. Remember, these are not prototypes. They are live, production systems that are fundamentally reshaping how we interact with massive brands. Okay, Section 3, healthcare hits compliance thresholds. This is where AI enters highly regulated workflows. Get this, in the exact same month, both Anthropic and OpenAI crossed the incredibly strict compliance threshold to ship healthcare-specific products. Anthropic launched a fully HIPAA-compliant version of Claude, and it directly connects to CMS clinical modules and ICD-10 registries. OpenAI countered that by launching ChatGPT Health, which is an entirely physician-informed experience. So, strict regulations in healthcare, they're no longer next year's opportunity. They are the baseline for this quarter's deployment targets. That brings us to Section 4, Mega Capital meets AI infrastructure. Let's look at the engines and the capital powering the shift. $55 billion. That is the global venture investment in the month of January alone. To really put that insane momentum into perspective, that number represents a more than doubling of venture investment year over year. It's basically a small country's GDP injected directly into the tech sector in just 31 days. It's wild. But it's where that money is going that's the real story here. AI-related companies captured $31.7 billion of that total funding. That means a whopping 57% of the entire global VC pie went strictly into artificial intelligence in a single month, more than half. And this momentum is building absolutely everywhere. You've got Elon Musk's xAI raising a massive $20 billion Series E. Think about that. That single deal was 36% of all global VC in January. Then you have these mega rounds anywhere from $500 million to $2 billion going to companies like Skilled AI for robotics, Waabi for autonomous driving, and Etched for AI chips. And we definitely can't ignore the Asian market. Chinese AI companies Zhipu AI and Minimax both listed on the Hong Kong Exchange, and they both debuted with valuations well above $6 billion. When you add all this momentum together, Gartner estimates that global AI investment is going to exceed this incredible $2 trillion mark in 2026. That is up $500 billion from just the previous year. And feeding all of this incredible investment is pure, unadulterated silicon power. NVIDIA launched their new Rubin platform at CES 2026, and the specs are honestly astounding. We're talking 6 new chips, next-generation HBM4 memory delivering 22 terabytes per second of bandwidth and 50 petaflops of inference. This represents a massive 2.5 times performance leap over their previous Blackwell chips. The physical hardware is scaling every bit as fast as the capital. But here's the thing, those chips are totally useless without the juice to run them. Physical AI and compute access are now strategic assets, literally on par with energy and power connectivity itself. This is perfectly proven by OpenAI and SoftBank. They just co-invested $1 billion in SB Energy, paired with signing a massive 1.2 gigawatt data center lease down in Texas. We're talking about infrastructure on a true industrial nation-state scale. Which leads perfectly into Section 5, the new regulatory reality, setting the rules of the road. Because with massive scale comes massive immediate regulation. Regulators are writing a very strict compliance clock right now. In January, multiple U.S. state laws took effect, including California's SB 53. That one mandates risk frameworks and safety reporting under the threat of hefty $1 million penalties per violation. Yikes. Add to that the Department of Justice's newly created AI litigation task force. We've also got the Colorado AI Act taking effect in June, and over in Europe, there's ongoing maneuvering that might actually delay certain EU AI Act rules to late 2027. But alongside all those external regulations, here is a pretty stark internal reality check. Despite all the billions invested and the massive chips, 96% of developers still do not fully trust AI-generated code. Just let that sink in for a second. 96%. That takes us to our final part, Section 6, what leaders must prioritize, an action plan for the next 6 to 12 months. That massive trust gap we just talked about, it proves the real enterprise challenge right now isn't capability, it's change management. It really all boils down to this. Competitive advantage is shifting from model access to system integration. Look, today, basically every enterprise on the planet can call an API for GPT, Gemini, or Claude. Access just isn't a moat anymore. The real winners in this industrialized phase are going to be the ones who embed AI deeply into end-to-end workflows, with governance and safety built in from day absolute one. So, instead of simply shopping around to buy the latest shiny tools, business leaders need to prioritize 3 clear, actionable mandates over the next 6 to 12 months. Number 1, secure your infrastructure partnerships so you aren't squeezed out of compute. Number 2, establish rock-solid internal AI governance to manage the very real regulatory and trust risks. And number 3, commit to fundamental workflow redesign. Because let's be honest, bolting an AI chatbot onto a broken process fixes absolutely nothing. To wrap up this explainer, I want you to really consider your own enterprise context here. Look at your team, look at your industry, and I want to leave you with this final provocative question. Between the massive agentic commerce rollouts, the healthcare compliance breakthroughs, the billions in compute infrastructure, or the looming regulatory crackdowns, what AI shift from this month do you think will matter most for you as we move deeper into 2026? Think about it and start building.